Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. I hope y'all all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and never a dull day of Call of Duty. I thought today might be a little bit more tame in terms of the storylines, but as it turns out, that is not the case at all. Atlanta FaZe lose a series for the first time so far this season, and the remarkable thing is really the team they lost it to. Demolished in both search and destroys. Pretty incredible fashion, to be honest. We've been talking for a couple of weeks now. Who's going to be the first team to beat FaZe? Is it even possible? Are they going to go through and completely mob the major? You could say this is a good time to lose for them, certainly. You know, they might bounce back in incredible fashion for the major in a couple of weeks' time. That is certainly possible. But well, this loss certainly has a lot of storylines to discuss, and I'm intrigued to hear your perspective in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you are new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. And well, before the games even started, this came out from the CDL. The definition of success, first in pretty much all categories you can see right here, at least these ones, they decide to bring up on screen, but maybe not so by the time we finished off the day. Ravens also confirmed before the day started Cellium is going to be signed as, of course, their full-time player. Didn't actually work out too well for them, of course. Today we'll have a look at their series against Toronto in just a second here. But what's interesting about this is the fact that I believe you can only have 2 substitutes signed to your lineup, which means that, okay, they bring Zed in. Parasite is completely out of the picture. He's not signed anymore. But the problem is they've got Alex, they've got Zero, and they've got Afro. So I believe one of them had to be removed, and I think Alex took Royal Ravens out of his bio, so unfortunately these personal circumstances that I believe he's had to go back to the UK for whatever reason, we're not exactly sure. I hope all is well, but it seems like he may no longer be on the team, and Zero and Afro are staying as their subs, because I'm pretty sure you can only have 2 in addition to the 4 starting players. But Zed does join the lineup officially, and well, he plays in the first matchup of the day up against the Toronto Ultra. And this of course was an exciting series, given that we talked earlier today, this whole Toronto fine situation that Cammy had to go through, and as Crone says, don't say it, don't say it, don't say it, but he can't help himself in the end, as they do take map number 1 in very convincing fashion. Cammy completely dominated game 1. He was super hyped, as you can see. I mean, the Krig in his hands on the 60Hz servers seems to be something else. I think he goes 33 and 20, 250 to 140 in the end in the entirety of the map for the Toronto Ultra, and they take down London in a very strong map for the Royal Ravens. Have seen them do pretty good things on this a little bit before, so very impressive that Ultra come out with this much fire, especially given the drama that went down these past 24 hours or so. Yeah, the YouTube chats in all the good situation that's going on at the present time, and as our Royal Ravens say, why couldn't you have just given Cammy a 1 series suspension at Toronto Ultra, because he decided really to turn up this series and show the level that he is capable of. And well, this is the game number 2 as well, so Cammy dominates this one. I mean, once again, a bottle job from the Royal Ravens, to be honest. They're up 5-3 here on raids. Honestly, a good map for Ultra. I'm kind of surprised that Ravens went into this, because Ultra have been pretty solid on raids, and as you can see in terms of the stat line, Cammy were 12 in 7. I mean, CleanX had a big round right at the end as well. I mean, Bant's 8 in 6, and really the guys couldn't get anything going, and it was Paul X who really had such a standout series a few days ago that kind of struggled today, and that means that they just really didn't have the slaying power to get over a Toronto Ultra team in a series that really, I'm pretty sure if London won this, they were guaranteed the winners bracket, because they would have been 3-1. And then we go into the control, and once again another classic for the, well, for Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Dylan lagged out. I'm not exactly sure what the reasoning was for this, but he lagged out of the game, and it was a great position honestly for London to win, because I think Shawnee had streaks. They were of course on the offense, but they only had 1 more site to be captured, or I think it was the A point that was still to be captured. Certainly a difficult thing to do, not saying by any means they would have won the round, but just not the ideal spot to lag out in. They do replay the round, which I think was the right decision, because just giving the Toronto Ultra the win for free probably wouldn't have been justified. So okay, they replay it, but in the end it's Ultra who actually close out the game, and as you know, Royal Ravens say here, it is time for VAR to go to the decision making. But well, as it turned out, they do replay the round, and Toronto Ultra get the job done. A few people seem to like this tweet, so I thought I'd play it on screen for you guys. Cammy's sensitivity training certainly paying off. He was honestly frying this series. The stats are pretty insane. 60Hz Krig, he does say. And Royal Ravens lose the series in a 3-0 fashion. Ultra shake up the Group A standings. Not only is Group A looking very interesting now, especially after this final series, but the Group B chaos continues tomorrow. Going to be talking about some of the potential permutations in tomorrow's video for what could happen with Group B, but there's honestly so many options that it is tough to go through all of them or really even understand what's going on. As Ben the Sim says right here, assuming that New York beat Toronto, Atlanta beat London, and Thieves beat LAG, then all of these guys would finish 2 in 3 in the group, and well, that could be something pretty spectacular indeed. So the final series of the day was Atlanta FaZe versus Los Angeles Guerrillas, and well, this did not go the way I was expecting it to. right at the start of the game on Moscow, it felt like, okay, LAG are putting up a little bit of a fight here, but sometimes FaZe, they do come into series kind of a little bit slow, and then they really turn up the heat. And honestly, towards the end of this map, Simp went off, I mean, he had his moments, aBeZy had his moments as well, Cellium was phenomenal the entire series long, and well, Atlanta FaZe take game number 1, 250 to 176. Seems like relatively standard procedure. I'm pretty sure Gorillas had lost like 8 hardpoint maps in a row or something leading up to this point, so losing the 9th one in the row wasn't really a surprise to anyone. It seems like, okay, FaZe is going to close this one out 3-0, I better get ready to start making the video. However, that's not how it ends up. We go into the Search and Destroy in Miami. This is, of course, a pretty good map for FaZe. I mean, they demolished Dallas Empire on it a number of times at the Major. And clearly LAG had done their research here, and it's impressive to see, right? We talked a few days ago the fact that, you know, maybe Zoom was implying that, like, these teams, you always know they're going to lose. They should do something about their rosters. But one thing that must be said for Los Angeles Gorillas is they have a great coaching staff in terms of what they were able to do in Search and Destroy. They've got Ricky, they've got, of course, Bevels over there, great Search and Destroy players in their time, and, well, they clearly have done a lot of research right here, watched all the VODs that FaZe were bringing to the table, and honestly demolished them here on Miami. FaZe had no responses. They, you know, the trades weren't really there for them. They were getting picked apart, to be honest, by Los Angeles Gorillas. One of the rounds that FaZe kind of threw away early on, but 6-2 on Miami. Not what I was expecting to see, but okay, LAG, a good Search and Destroy team, but yeah, can they win a respawn, right? That is really the question. Can they take it to FaZe and get the job done here and, you know, something like a 3-2? Because my expectation still was after this map that, okay, FaZe are going to bounce back, they're going to regroup, and they're going to close out the series in a 3-1 fashion. The best team in the game, of course. Doesn't happen, though. aBeZy goes 10-3 on Miami right here, so look at these stat lines, right? How often do you see FaZe going 4-8, 2-6, 2-5, 5-6? A very similar story in the map 5. We'll get there in a second. And well, this is the control then. So the control was crazy because this is really where it felt like the teamwork from FaZe wasn't quite there, but the individual plays, they were still turning up when it mattered. I mean, right here in the control, it was very close, super back and forth. Felt like LAG were actually going to win this one. I mean, a couple of times they should maybe have won the offense, but FaZe just went crazy. Like Simp right here popping this 3-piece, turns it into a 5-piece as well. Like some crucial plays like this on the defense when FaZe needed it was enough to just about get them over the line, get them defense in round 5 and close out the game. But a very close one indeed. It really felt like Los Angeles Gorillas were going to find a way to win that one. They don't, but they do then win the map 4. So they take it to Apocalypse, and FaZe get, to be honest, kind of demolished here, right? Like early on in the map, they won a couple of rotations to, you know, P3, P4, P5, and Simp got a 2-piece he really shouldn't have got. I mean, Vivid killed his teammate, I believe, and that was kind of unfortunate for Gorillas. But those rotations from P1 to P2 and then to P3 on the second rotation, just flawless. FaZe were getting, you know, 2-pieced and they didn't really have anything to do about it. The cohesion for the Gorillas was there. And 250 to 154 to win their first hardpoint in a very long time was very impressive. Silly with the Iron Sight QBZ dropping, I think it was 21 in 12 in the end. I mean, well, honestly, all the KDs on the side of LAG were very impressive. And how often do you see Simp go 13 in 20 in a respawn? Doesn't happen too often. We really haven't seen FaZe play this map too often, to be honest, so difficult to say how good exactly they are on it. But yeah, a loss here to Los Angeles Gorillas, and this kind of echoed the series that they played to Paris Legion, right? Towards the end of stage 1, they lost that series, or they actually won that series, of course, 3-2. They lose this one, but a very similar fashion, playing a weaker team in the league. They probably should have lost it. They really go down to the wire, and it felt like after that Paris Legion series, they really came back with a vengeance. And this time it's in a similar situation where actually they lose this one in the end, playing a team that clearly is much better in Search and Destroy. So strange thing for FaZe that they looked so good, obviously, and now obviously they come out today looking very flat indeed. The teamwork isn't there, and it's Los Angeles Gorillas of all teams in the world that managed to take FaZe down in a game 5. And here we go, Gorillas taking FaZe to a game 5. What exactly is going on right here? And all the way in the end, I mean, here on Express, they actually lost this map, I believe, FaZe in a 6-5 fashion to New York a while ago, so it felt like, okay, this is a potential series that they could lose, or at least it's a potential map that they could lose. And Gorillas come out with a fireman. It really felt like their preparation was so good. Like LAG were just going down the route of, right, let's win a respawn, and we know exactly what these guys are going to do in Search and Destroy, completely shutting them down. FaZe clearly maybe didn't take this series serious enough, or they didn't prepare properly, because LAG were all over them. I mean, some of the plays that they were making were so good. They knew what to do. They would get a couple of kills, rotate all the way around the map. I mean, completely pinching into the sights, knowing exactly the setups that FaZe would be taking in terms of trying to hold on their offenses. And well, Vivid got a crazy 3-piece early on, and FaZe could not string anything together. 6-0 here on this map. I mean, it's kind of reminiscent of when they did a similar thing to OpTic way back at the start of stage 1. But FaZe go down. Their first series win, I believe it was 11-0 or 12 in a row or something like that, but they finally lose one, and against LAG of all teams, right? It does make you question what exactly is going on with this league right now. How does FaZe manage to demolish everyone else and fail to get past LA Gorillas? But again, sometimes it goes like this, right? You kind of underestimate one of these lower tier squads. They do a hell of a lot of preparation, and sometimes it's just not your day, right? And you're not feeling it in the Search and destroys especially, the teamwork wasn't really there, and some major frustrations coming out from the FaZe guys as well, but a lot to delve into here, right, because what does this mean for FaZe going forwards, right? You know, what happens? Of course, if it was OpTic and they had the same fan base, OpTic too, you know, it's probably calls for roster changes. Of course, yeah, nothing like that is ever going to happen, nor should it, of course, but they need to, you know, regroup and say, okay, we play London later on, we need to, okay, win that one, we'll get out in the winners bracket, and then we'll really regroup and take things to the next level, once again, as they have done, especially at the major, really, for stage 1, where they were completely dominating. But as I say, it does kind of remind me of that series against Paris, that they should have probably lost. I mean, it was a crazy 1v3 from Simp in that game 5 on Rage got as my member, and Cellium had a 1v2 in the round 10 as well, and that series, honestly, Paris probably should have won it. I'm sure that FaZe, after that series, they looked back and they thought, okay, wow, like, you know, we probably should have lost that series, it was way too close for comfort, and they'll probably think a very similar thing after this one, which they did actually lose. So, frustrating for them, I'm sure, not to go undefeated, but eventually someone was going to beat them. It's online COD at the end of the day, but, you know, what do they do from here? I suppose, to be honest, my expectation is this is, for them, an ideal time to lose. If they'd have won this, if they'd have snuck through it in a 3-1, let's say they close out that Apocalypse or something, or, you know, maybe they found a way to win the Miami and they win the series 3-0 or something, then okay, maybe they think, oh, right, we're just going to demolish everyone no matter how much we prepare for some of these series. But, yeah, here's probably a little bit of a reality check for FaZe, thinking, okay, well, you know, we can lose on our day to, well, any given team. Clearly, if Los Angeles Guerrillas can do it, and if some of the other teams prepare properly in their search and destroys, they are, well, clearly, FaZe are very beatable, especially against, you know, you can imagine a Dallas Empire, if they do, like, some proper great preparation in search and destroy, and, well, some sort of adaptation, as we've seen Guerrillas do right here against FaZe, and, well, they also are more competitive in the respawns against FaZe, then we really could see, I mean, OpTic could do a similar thing. There's other teams out there which certainly can match FaZe in the respawns, New York Subliners being one of them. So I think on the whole, it does make the league a lot more interesting, this result we have seen today. And RC says, GG's Los Angeles Guerrillas, I played awfully, no teamwork at all, play London on Sunday. And it really does, well, switch up exactly what happens in the group. This discussion once again has been raging on these last few minutes, I believe, as Slasher says at Octane Sam, coin it, flip league comes up again. Maybe we'll talk about that in more detail tomorrow. And these are the stats over the course of it. I mean, that final map, Express Search and Destroy, LHG went 24-9 in terms of the team KD, and on the whole, Silly goes 74-59. Fantastic performance out of this guy. Vivid with a crazy amount of damage as well, almost 15,000, up there with Simp as well, even though Simp just about goes positive in this series. And as Simp actually says, this is not happening again. That series, you know, pissed me off beyond belief. I'm not happy about it at all. As well, this may be where you start to see FaZe come back with a resurgence. That's probably something I expect them to do. But yeah, a big series loss for them certainly really does shake up the league to some degree. And one of the big conversations as well is that I believe with FaZe losing, it's now actually possible for New York to get the first seed in the group. I think FaZe would have to, like, lose to London or something, but, you know, at the end of the day, if you can lose to LAG, can you lose to London? You could certainly argue so, but a lot of the time it is the search and destroy that decides these series. LAG have always kind of had that as a strength. But interesting series, I'm sure, coming up on Sunday, and now both groups are very interesting indeed, because not only is, well, Group A very interesting in many possible permutations, especially with Toronto winning as well today. It looked like it was going to be kind of clear-cut, okay, FaZe, New York, and then maybe London. That's not how it works out at all. And on the Group B side of things, it's also, well, very much up in the air. There's a few games tomorrow. We'll talk about them in tomorrow's video, of course. Intrigued your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm to know you enjoy this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well. And I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.